Help me reach 3,000 subscribers. Hit like and leave a comment. I really do read them all. Let's grab the park tonight. Or a movie. We could do that taco place after. I told Lauren on a Thursday at 6, rinsing coffee grounds from a travel mug I hadn't washed since Monday. It was our small routine. End of week, we do something just the two of us. For years she'd light up, throw on a jacket, ask what's showtime. This time, she didn't even look up from her phone. No desire, she said, thumb flicking. I'm tired. I let the faucet run. You always have desire for the park. You argued for the park. Not today. She set the phone face down, smile that wasn't a smile. You go? Get your steps. I'm fine. That's how it started. Not a fight. Not a storm. Just air let out of something I'd been peddling for years. If I'd known where that no desire would end up, I wouldn't have rinsed the mug. I would have packed a bag. I gave it a day. Next morning, I offered breakfast out before work. Rain check, she said, already in leggings. Hair up, keys in hand. Sierra wants me for coffee, and then we're checking out a pop-up. Tonight, then. Dinner. Can't. Sierra again. Every night this week is Sierra, I said, half a grin so it didn't land like a jab. That's what friends do. I leaned against the counter. Husbands also do dinners. She picked up the phone again. You're making this heavy. It's not. Okay, I'll be at the garage. You and your garage, she said, moving past me. You and your pop-ups. I answered, light, but I was taking notes. By Saturday afternoon, the house sounded like a hotel lobby where I was the doorman. She moved through, tossed lines, collected herself, left. I put up shelves in the garage, stacked bins, screwed brackets into studs without turning on music. I like sound when I'm building. That afternoon, I wanted quiet. Screws tell you truth when they bite. She came back with shopping bags, laughter still hanging on her like perfume. You should have come, she said, dropping a box on the table. You'd have hated it. Thanks for the invite. I replied, wiping sawdust from my forearm with an old towel. You were busy being a dad with your bins. You keep inviting me to join the new you, I said. Maybe explain the rules. She twisted the cap off a bottle of seltzer. Rules? There are no rules. That's adorable, I said, and she gave me the look she gives when a joke isn't funny, but she keeps it anyway. I'm going out tonight, she added. Don't wait up. Got it. I'll be up early for the site. You work weekends now? When there's work. You said we'd do brunch. You said no desire. I answered, not raising my voice. So I moved my day. You're being petty. I'm being efficient, I said. If plans are floating, I anchor mine. Do whatever. I am. She shrugged, took her bags upstairs. I pulled my phone, texted Nate from my crew. You still need help on the retrofit Sunday? I'm in. He sent a thumbs up and an address. That was my first change. I stopped blocking out invisible time for someone who decided I was background. She came down later in a dress I hadn't seen since we were dating. How do I look? She asked, hand on the doorframe, expecting the same old praise. You look set for attention, I told her. Be safe. Wow. She fake laughed. Jealous much? Not even a little, I said, looking past her at the garage lights still on. And I'm not your ride anymore. Order something. You used to pick me up, she said. That was when we were a we. She shook her head like I was making a scene no one else could see. Whatever, Mike. Her heels tapped out. I shut the garage lights, closed the door, and put my wallet and keys in a small tray. When I came back to the kitchen, there was a message from my sister asking if we were coming to the family thing next month. I started to type yes, stopped, and deleted the text. I wrote, I'll let you know. Might be changes. Sunday before sunrise, I was at the site with Nate, hauling out scrap, checking measurements, knocking off rust from a stubborn bracket. You okay, man? He asked when we took a water break on the curb. I'm fine, I said, tucking my tape back onto my belt. Just shifting my calendar. That sounds like code. It is. New rule. If I'm not invited, I'm unavailable. Makes it simple. Nate smirked. Clean. She turned down 3 plans in a row, I added. So I turned down not being plan B. You gonna talk it out? I did, I said. Talked. Now I'm doing. He nodded. You want the driver on Tuesday? Take it, I told him. I've got my own project. By Monday, I had another change. I separated a part of our joint expenses into a list labeled mine. My insurance, my truck payment, my tools, my personal card. The rest, house stuff. I left where it was, but I set reminders for separate transfers. I wasn't playing games with small things like subscriptions. I was pulling my name and money into clear lanes. I put the new schedule on the fridge, my shifts, my job sites, the gym, so there was no mystery. Lauren looked at it that evening. "What's this?" "Transparency," I replied, wiping the counter. "You said no to plans. I filled the slots. That's me not chasing you around with open evenings. You're overreacting. I'm preventing assumptions. You're busy. So am I." She traced a finger down the calendar. "So Wednesday night you're out?" "Team night. Nate wants to celebrate finishing the retrofit." "I thought Wednesdays were for us." I gave her a small look. "I thought Thursdays were for us. And Fridays. And Saturdays." "That's not fair." "It's accurate," I said. "But good news. If you want me, text by noon the day before. I'll schedule you in." She blinked. "Schedule me? You schedule me by not scheduling me." "I'm adjusting." "You sound like a boss." "I am," I said, and that stuck in the air a second longer than she liked. Wednesday came. I went to a place Nate picked. It had tables that wobble and servers who call you Han without knowing your name. I keep it simple. Wings, iced tea, talk about work. 10 minutes in, Lauren walked through the door with Sierra and two people I didn't know. She didn't see me at first. When she did, she waved like we'd run into each other in another city. "You're here?" she said, standing at our table. "Apparently." I answered, sliding a menu to the server. "Weird," Sierra chimed in, all teeth. Sierra is the kind of friend who narrates her own life in third person. "We didn't know this was your place." "Nothing is my place," I said. "I'm a guest everywhere." Lauren tilted her head. "You're being dramatic." "Maybe," I replied. "Pull up chairs. Or don't. We were just talking about drilling holes in impossible metal." "Riveting," Sierra said. She cracked herself up. Nate smiled polite. He said hi to the table, introduced himself, and the server offered to combine, but I shook my head. "We'll keep separate," I told her. "It's cleaner." Lauren leaned in closer, voice lower. "Is this about the calendar?" "It's about you having your fun without me and me not waiting by the door," I said. "Enjoy your night." She studied me like I'd changed a language overnight. "Don't be rude to my friends." "I wasn't," I said. "I just paid for my own meal." They sat 2 tables over. There were glances. There were half whispers. There was a moment where Sierra said something and looked over to see my reaction, like she was tossing a tennis ball my way. I kept talking to Nate about the new site. When we got up to leave, I stopped by Lauren's table. "Thursday," I said. "If you want dinner, text me by noon. Otherwise, I'm laying tile in the garage." "Tile is forever, right?" Sierra asked loudly. "Respect is," I said, not looking at her. Thursday at 11:45 a text came from Lauren. "Dinner? 7?" I replied, "Yes. Steak at the place on Oak." She sent a thumbs up. At 6:55 I was at a table by the window. She walked in 5 after, hair curled like she'd put in effort. The server set water down and a basket of bread Lauren usually demolishes. She touched my wrist. "I'm sorry about the other night," she said. "I've been restless." "I don't mean to shut you out." "I prefer doors to walls," I said. "Order what you want." She ordered something she said she shouldn't, smiled at me across the table like old times. We ate, and it felt almost normal until Sierra texted her twice, glow lighting her face in a way no candle could. Lauren put the phone face down, saw me see it, and gave me the soft smile every adult learns in their 20s. The smile that says I'm present, brief. "Next Friday," she said. "We could go to the river. Like we used to." "I've got a morning pour Saturday," I told her. "But we can do Friday early." "See?" She perked up. "We're fine. We can be," I said. I meant it. That was the first soft turn. She reached for my hand like she remembered it belonged to her, and for a small second I believed. 2 days later she texted, "Can you pick me up from Amber's? It's late, and the cars are a mess." I wrote back, 24 hours notice for rides. Remember the rules. She sent a ... Then, wow. I put my phone down. 5 minutes later another text. "It's not safe. Please." I replied, "Get a car. Or call Sierra. She owes you." No answer after that. Sunday morning, she was sweet as syrup in the kitchen, laying out eggs and toast like a commercial. "Breakfast," she said, bright. "My turn." "Thank you," I told her, sitting. "What's the occasion?" "No occasion." She poured me coffee, pushed the sugar toward me even though I don't take it. I was being a brat. "You were right." We do need time. I like when you say I'm right, I said. I know. She was almost girlish. I'll stop making plans without asking you first. I just needed to get out of my head the last couple weeks. I nodded, tore bread, washed her eyes. Okay. We could go to that farmer thing, she said. Pick up some vegetables. After I run to the hardware store. Always the hardware store, she teased, then leaned against the counter. You know I love how you can fix anything. I can fix what wants to be fixed, I said. She laughed small. She put a hand on my shoulder as she passed. It felt like an apology since she didn't say the words. At noon she said, Sierra wants to stop by for a minute, and I saw the edge of the play. We were back to her gravity. I went to the store and took my time. When I came back, Sierra was on the couch, feet up, talking about a party that night. You should come, Mike, she said. It's a theme. Fun. I don't do themes, I answered, putting the bags down. And I already did a theme. Work. You never have fun, Sierra told me. More to Lauren than me. I have plenty, I said. Just not your kind. Lauren's face had that patient look people use when they've decided you're someone else. It's okay, she told Sierra. He's him. Yeah, I said. I am. On Tuesday, we had Sierra's birthday dinner at a restaurant downtown, where the chairs look better than they feel. I went because Lauren asked by noon, and because you can't accuse a man of not trying if he shows up in a clean shirt. The table was long. Too many people for real conversation. Sierra made a toast about friends as family. And then we were into small bites and small talk. I paid for my plate when the check came to avoid another group math problem where generosity gets blurred into utility. I put cash straight on the leather folder. Lauren saw it and raised an eyebrow. You're not covering Sierra? She asked under the table. I'm covering me, I said. It's her birthday. Her family can cover her. Sierra heard. Ouch, she sang. Somebody's on a budget. I'm on respect, I answered. Budget, respect, same coin, she said, laughing for the table. Lauren leaned across plates. Can you not? Can I not pay for people who mock me? I asked softly. It's a joke, she said. I don't fund jokes, I said. It's amazing how serious I get when money leaves my pocket. That earned me a couple of glances. Good. I wanted witnesses. After dinner, on the sidewalk, Lauren tugged my sleeve. Why do you make it weird? She asked. I draw lines, I replied. Lines are visible. They look like weird to people used to gray. You used to be generous. I still am, I said. Just not blind. Then don't come next time. That's an invitation I'll take, I told her, stepped back onto the curb, and called a car. She'd driven with Sierra. I'd already planned my exit. The following night we ate at home because she'd texted by noon, and I honor my rules. I grilled. She made a salad. We sat down like a normal couple on a normal Wednesday, and she reached for the salt, then for the remote, then for her phone, then put it face down. Halfway through, she set her fork not on her plate, but beside it on the table, and looked at me like she was appraising a used couch. You disappear, she said, almost playful, but not joking. You just fade. I didn't blink. Since when? Since always, she said, with that tiny half smile she uses when she wants me to own something I didn't do. You've made it your thing. I took a sip of water, felt the scraping clarity of glass against wood when I put it down. So I disappear. You know you do, she said. You're here, but not here. It's exhausting. Interesting, I said, because lately I feel very, very present. You're distant. She shrugged. You pull back. You're cold. You said no desire for us 3 times in a row. I replied, even tone. I adjusted. That's not cold. That's putting on a jacket in fall. You have an answer for everything. I have standards for a few things, I said. She smiled small again. Good at that. This is what I mean. The way you talk. It makes you vanish. I looked her straight. That's when it clicked. She wasn't describing me. She was preparing to erase me. I was already a shadow in her script. My chair scraped. I stood. Okay, I said calm. If I'm a ghost, I'll do you the favor. Sit down, she said, her fork still resting on the table. We're having dinner. We were, I told her. We're done. You're proving my point, she said. Maybe, I answered. But at least I won't hear it twice. I rinsed my plate. She watched me like I'd turned into someone else. In our bedroom, I pulled the fireproof folder from the closet shelf. Passports, birth certificates, titles. I set them on the bed, opened a new note on my phone, and titled it, Exit List. I called a number Nate had given me for a small place near the river, week to week if you want it, month to month if you're smart. They had a vacancy. I put the deposit down over the phone. I emailed my boss that I'd take on a couple extra shifts next 2 weeks, keep my head busy. I texted a moving guy we use on jobs sometimes. Tuesday morning, I told Lauren I'd be home late. She didn't ask why. She had a spin class. I took a long lunch and opened a new checking account at a small branch where the manager looks you in the eye. I moved my direct deposit. I split utilities. Left the house account funded through the end of the month. Noted the exact number so no one could spin it later. I sent a respectful note to our landlord that I wanted to remove my name from renewals at the end of the term. No drama. Just numbers. Thursday, she tried the second soft turn. I came home to a clean house and music low in the background, the kind she plays when she wants the room to smile at her. There were candles, not my thing, and a plate on the table with a note. Your favorite. She came out of the kitchen with a bottle open. I overreacted, she said first, before I could comment. You didn't disappear. I got defensive. Okay, I said, putting my keys in the tray. I miss us, she added. Let's reset. We can reset, I answered. It takes two. It does, she said, and she walked up, touched my chest with one hand like that would restart something. I'm sorry. For what exactly? I asked. For pushing you away, she said, eyes big. I forget you're a person. That was so honest it almost sold me. Then her phone lit up on the counter again, and she glanced. Old habits. She smothered it with her palm, smiled back at me. Sunday, she said sweetly. Sierra wants us all to go to the lake. She needs your truck. But we'll make it our day, too. There it was. Care with a cost. I slid my hands into my pockets. Truck's busy Sunday, I told her. And so am I. She blinked, then recovered. We could go Saturday instead. I've got a morning pour. Always with the pour, she said, playful but not. Don't be stubborn. I'm consistent, I replied. She stepped back. You're making this harder than it needs to be. I'm making it real, I said. If you want a Sunday with me, plan a Sunday with me. If you want my truck, ask the truck. She looked past me, exhaled through her nose like a coach out of patience. You make everything transactional, she said. I make things clear, I answered. The next day our neighbor Tom had a small backyard thing. His kids' little league won some game, and we stopped by. Tom is easy. He's loud, funny, built like a refrigerator, married to a woman who actually likes him. There were cheap paper plates and a cooler full of ice. I was telling Tom about a stupid inspection we'd passed only because I'd argued a measurement no one else wanted to argue, and Lauren drifted off to a circle of moms who like to pretend they're on television. I noticed it when it happened. She ramped up. She does that when she has an audience. She laughed at something. Then her eyes slid to me, then back, and the circle tightened. One of them glanced my way and did that little guilty glance away. Tom followed my eyes. You good? He asked. I'm fine, I said. I'm leaving in 20. Everything cool with Lauren? He asked because he's not dumb. Depends what you call cool, I said. She wants freedom. I want respect. They're not friends. He nodded. You need an extra pair of hands next week? Maybe, I told him. I'll let you know. Lauren came over after a little while with a smile that lived only on the surface. We're heading to Kinsey's after, she announced for me to hear. I'm not. Tom will be hurt, she said. You leaving early? Yep, I said. Early pour tomorrow. There it is, she teased, hand on my arm. The pour. You've said that joke, I said. Find a new one. This is why people think you're intense, she told me. I'm consistent, I corrected. And I'm done. She turned her hand over like she was smoothing air. Don't be mad. I'm not mad, I said calm. I'm leaving. Tom lifted his chin at me like he could read the subtext. Drive safe, he said. Text me. I did. From my driveway. Moving out Tuesday. Keep it quiet. He wrote back. You sure? Yes. He didn't ask why. He didn't need to. That weekend I packed the garage. I took what was obviously mine. Tools. Gear. Old cards from my dad. I boxed pictures of my family, but left the wedding album on the shelf where it had always sat. I labeled everything by room with a black marker because I do things once, right? I booked the movers for Tuesday at 9. Lauren had yoga at 9:30. I chose the window. Monday night, I laid my last boundary in public. At the end of her friend group's trivia night. She likes to call me to join for the last round so I can be the anchor but not the teammate. I stopped by the table, threw a greeting to the bartender who knows me by face, not name, and set my keys on the table in front of her. "What's that?" she asked. "The spare," I said. "Mine's on my ring." "You're being weird again." "I'm being done with back and forth," I told her. "I'm out early tomorrow. Don't wait up." "You never want to stay," she said, rolling her eyes for the table. "That's true now," I replied, and I walked. When she left for Yoga Tuesday, I was cordial. "See you later?" she asked from the doorway, mat under her arm. "Maybe," I said. The truck was there at 8:59. The guys were good, quiet, careful, strong backs. I had it down to a system. Bedroom box 1 through 6, garage 1 through 10, office 1 through 3. I left what we'd bought together unless it had my name on it. I put the folder of documents into my backpack and clicked it closed. At 10:40, I placed an envelope on the kitchen table under the salt shaker where she'd set her fork that night. Inside, a simple letter. "Lauren, the rent and utilities are covered through the end of the month. I've moved my things that are mine. I'm leaving the house to you. I'm removing my name from renewals. If you need anything for logistics, text me. No arguments. You wanted space. I'm giving you actual space. Keys on the hook. Mike." I put the spare key on the hook by the door where we've always thrown keys and dog leashes we never used. I took photos of the rooms for my records because people remember what hurts, not what happened. Then I closed the door behind me and locked it for the last time from the outside. I drove to the small apartment near the river. It's not fancy. It's clean, quiet, high window looking out at a stand of maples. I stacked my boxes along the wall, set a single chair in the corner, and called my sister. "You okay?" she asked. "I'm good," I said. I left. "Are you serious?" "Yeah." "What happened?" "Nothing dramatic," I said. She said something and meant it. "That sounds like her." "I'm not slandering anyone," I added. "I'm just reporting." "What do you need?" she asked. "Nothing," I said. "I've got everything." I sent a group text later that afternoon to immediate family and 3 friends who would otherwise hear twisted versions first. Short update. Lauren and I are living separately. I've moved out. No details needed. We both want quiet. Reach me directly for me. Reach her directly for her. Neutral. Clean. Final enough. At 4, the door to the apartment clicked from the hallway. Nate stepped in carrying a box marked kitchen. "You sure?" he asked again. "Completely," I said. "What do you need?" "An extra set of hands for an hour and a beer after," I said. "Tea," he said, nodding to my shelf with dusty bottles. "You don't drink on build days." "You know me," I said. At 5, Lauren called. I let it go to voicemail. She texted after, "Are you kidding me?" I wrote back, "No." She called again. This time I answered, "Yes." "What is this?" she asked. Her voice was smaller than I'd heard in a while. "It's me disappearing," I said. "This is ridiculous. You didn't even talk to me." "We've been talking," I said. "You said you wanted space. You made it clear I didn't fit the new calendar. I believed you. I didn't mean." "You did," I said, not harsh, just done. "You did mean it. That's the point." "What about the house?" she asked. "What about bills?" "Read the note," I told her. "Everything's covered until the end of the month. After that, you renew or you don't. Your call. I'll pick up any mail every Friday." "You can't just leave," she said, less force behind it now. "I did," I answered. "And I won't be in a place where I'm background." "You're overreacting." "I'm reacting once," I said. "That's all I need." "You can't punish me," she said. "I'm not punishing you," I replied. "I'm ending a setup that doesn't include me." "I was going to fix it," she said. "You had time," I said. Silence sat there, heavy but honest. Finally, she tried a different angle. "We have friends. People will ask questions." I sent a message, I said. "They'll ask you about you, not me." "You're being cold." "I'm being clear," I said. "Last thing, Lauren. You wanted me gone. You got it. I don't live where I'm not respected." "Is that it?" she asked, voice tiny. "That's it," I said, and I ended the call. That was my last line to her that counted. Clean, surgical, unrepeatable. The weeks after were smaller and better. I kept my mornings the same. Coffee, gym, job site. I started coaching a little league team with Tom on Saturdays because he needed another adult who could keep score and teach kids not to swing at air. I slept well. I learned the exact angle the afternoon light hit the apartment wall and how quiet honest rooms are. I bought a used motorcycle I'd wanted in my 20s and never justified. Not a statement. A tool that moved how I liked. You point, it goes. At work, I took on a small lead role on a new site because my boss knows I don't give half measures. You're steadier lately, he told me. Whatever you did, keep doing it. Nate and I built an awning structure from scratch one Friday and high-fived like we were still 25 and the world was a set of clean edges. 3 months later, I ran into Sierra outside a market. She was with someone new, because of course she was. Mike, she said, like she'd discovered I'd survived a tornado. Wow, I heard you moved out. True, I said. How's bachelor life? She asked, smirk ready. Respectful, I replied. I recommend it. Lauren's been, you know. She made a vague motion with her hand, like drawing smoke in the air. She says you blindsided her. I left a note, I said. You always were literal, she said. I like facts, I told her. They don't twist as easy. She's in a smaller place now, Sierra added, not quite able to hide her fascination. The landlord raised the rent after you left. It's been a lot. Life is a lot, I said. She misses you, she said, like she was performing charity. She misses control, I answered. Sierra's smile tightened. You got mean. No, I told her. I got boundaries. 2 more months, and I met someone at the hardware store of all places. Dana. She asked me about fasteners like she actually cared what I said. We had coffee on a Sunday morning that was clean and quiet and didn't need an audience. She laughed at things because they were funny, not because it served her. We took it slow because we both had lives. She called me on bad takes, and I thanked her because that's how adults work. Word came through the grapevine that Lauren stopped going out so much. Her circle shrank, then resettled around people who don't challenge her. She tried to throw a party in her new place, and it fizzled. I heard she started posting quotes about self-discovery, the kind designed for people who like mirrors. I didn't gloat. I made dinner. Sometimes at night, I think about the fork on the table and how clean that sound was when it didn't hit the plate. That's when I understood the layout of our last months. She was crafting a version of me she could discard without guilt. And I did her the favor. I vanished. But not like she meant. Not like a man turns into fog and waits for the wind. I walked out the front door, placed the key on the hook, and went where respect is the baseline, not a gift. People ask me if I'd do anything differently. I would do it earlier. I would listen the first time she told me I was a ghost and believe that she wanted a house without me in it. I would leave the salt exactly where I left it and not look back. Last month, I signed papers on a small townhouse across town with a decent garage and a maple out front that drops leaves like a calendar. I moved my tools into place and hung a little board by the door with 2 hooks. One for my keys, one empty. Not for her. For whatever I choose to bring into my life that earns it. When Tom stopped by with his kid to drop off a trophy from the season, he whistled. Not bad, he said. Feels like you. Thanks, I replied. You hear from Lauren? He asked, because friends ask. Not in a while, I said. You miss her? He asked, not to pry, just to let me say it if I needed to. I miss who I thought I was married to, I answered. I don't miss the rest. He nodded. You good? I'm good, I said. I've got work. I've got peace. I'm not furniture. He laughed at that and set the trophy on the counter. We start again in the spring, he said. You in? Always, I replied. That night Dana came over with paint chips and a pizza she swore wasn't a bribe. We taped the baseboards and argued politely about shades of gray. She said mine looked like a parking garage. I said hers looked like a dentist. We landed on something between. Clear, simple, no pretending. When the walls dried, she stepped back with me and smiled. You like it? She asked. I do, I said. It's clean. You like clean, she teased. I like honest, I corrected. Clean is a bonus. We ate at the counter, feet on the lower rung like kids, but the conversation wasn't kid at all. She asked about my day and listened. I asked about hers and listened. No performance. No half smiles that cut. Just 2 people with real schedules and real respect, filling in the lines with choices, not noise. I slept early, woke early, and on the way to the site, I looked at the river and thought of the first text I'd sent to Nate months back. You still need help on the retrofit Sunday? I'm in. That was the moment I'd stopped being background in my own life. The rest was follow through. Lauren got what she asked for, even if she didn't phrase it like a request. She wanted me to disappear. I did. I took my standards with me. I took my quiet. I took my chair and my coffee and my mornings that don't ask permission. She kept the house for a while. then downsized, then learned that no desire has a price when it's directed at the man who pays the bill with respect. I didn't slam a door. I closed it. I didn't make a speech. I said one line. And if there's a lesson in any of this, it's simple. If someone looks at you across a dinner table and tells you you're fading, believe them. Then choose to be seen where you are not a prop. My life got bigger the second I stopped trying to fit into a smaller picture.